Hello, we're live. Today we'll be talking about um, what happens when your child cries a lot. Okay, and why we want to talk about this is basically there's a lot of parents who have gone through our micro course and they've been saying, "Hey, Ming, I've tried some of your stuff. All right, most of them are great. It's just that one of the tasks that I teach parents to do is something about opening, open palm, gestures, so on. If you don't know what it is, that's okay, but it still applies to you, all right? Because why children cry and scream, there's literally only a few reasons, okay? And especially if you're giving your child something, all right, if you're withholding something that your child wants and he starts crying, there's really a few things that you should do pretty in a fast manner, okay? So the question exactly, let me read it right now. It's, "Hey, Ming, I've been trying the open palm gesture, but the child is crying a lot and he's not able to wait until the thing comes into contact with his hand." Okay, so he's crying, wanting to have it. So first of all, you have to remember the function of crying and screaming and shouting and hand pulling and whatever, or screaming, is to get the item, right? So if you give the item when the child is screaming, what are you teaching? You're teaching the kid that screaming and shouting works, all right? So you don't want that. But the other side of it is that you don't want to wait so long that it becomes a full tantrum. So what should you do? So in the micro course, if you haven't, you can join it at agentsofspeech.com/micro. It basically, when your child wants something, you have to instantly give them something, okay? Instantly give. And how you do it without compromising your whole, what you're doing, is that you take his hand and then flip it right away and give it to him, okay? Last week, I was talking to a parent who sent me some videos, which is great. And she was doing the said task. And she was asking, hey, Ming, look, I've been doing it. It's not working. And I see her keep on asking the child to say something, okay? Never push. Never pressure your child. Never pressure them into talking. When you repeat and repeat and repeat it over and over again, it's not going to work, okay? So one of the great things about joining a micro course is that there's another Facebook group. And basically, people there are asking a load more harder questions, basically, okay? And the thing about it is, I want to read a part of it to you right now. I think I will be able to share my screen, probably. Give me a minute, okay? Let me see. All right, here we go. I see it. Let me share my screen. All right. So you would be seeing my, over here, let's see if you can see it. So Tanya here, oopsies. I'm going to share what she said here. So the problem here is that a parent was asking, hey man, don't know any words, and pull our hand to get something, what he wants. So typical everyday life, right? For everyone, for myself and for you, right? And then Tanya says, okay, if you follow what I say and do the exercise in the course, opening a transparent snack box with open palm gesture while saying open. And then in the course, I keep on saying, don't pressure. So she said, but I never pressured him. If he doesn't answer, I would give him the treat still. Then with consistency, he started to say open, right? Now he brings things to us and asks to open all the time. All this in 2 months. Please give your boys a lot of love, praises, and patience. I hope this helps someone out. All right, definitely help me out. Because basically, if you do this and follow through with the advice in 2 months, basically, your child is gonna have a better understanding of how communication works, right? So if anytime you have any questions, you can put it down here. Today is going to be a shorter live, and basically that's because it's Christmas and New Year's time, and everyone just wants to lay back and just have a good time, right? So I'm not going to keep you all here for a very long time. I'm not also trying not to make this as long as I usually do, right? So just tell me if you have any questions. Hi, I don't know who you are. I need to look at the group. Anyways, hello. Ask me anything right now. If you don't have anything to ask, that's cool. I'm gonna keep on going. Okay. So tantrums and crying. If you've been watching me for some time, you know the number one is always having something. They want something from you, right? That's why they're communicating. So when you help them finish something and don't pressurize them to talk, and instantly help them with a gesture or a tap or anything, then it becomes easy. Like over time, maybe 10 or 20 times, they start to understand, okay, so the easiest way is just to let you do it, right? Always the highest point of any service of of a business or like in a relationship or whatever, it's always DIY, like done for you, right? Done for you. If you do it for a child, there's no resistance because they need to do is sit back. They only scream and shout because they think that it's not working. Okay, think about screaming and shouting as a way to complain. So if everything that you've been doing is correct, right? There's no point in complaining, right? So if you think about it in that way, then all you need to do then is to provide and do it for them, finish it, right? So once you go past the done for you, right? You keep on doing the gestures, whatever for them, and you pair it with speech. Later on, they're like, oh, so there is a better way. Because remember, when your child is screaming and shouting and going like that, they're not listening at all. There's no point in teaching if they're like screaming and shouting. That's why in the micro course we always say like behavior is number one. Make sure that your child is behaving. Make sure that they're not like running away. They're not being busy being angry, or else they won't be learning anything, right? So remember, behavior number one. Okay. So how about times that are not about screaming and shouting? Not about them wanting something, but they are still screaming and shouting. Okay. So other than wanting something, there's also like escaping, right? So if right now, there's anything that he doesn't want to do, all right? If you're pulling on his hand hard and he goes, like that, he's actually escaping from your touch, okay? And that's something that you have to be careful about because then you are becoming a negative stimulus. To say it nicely, they're becoming like annoyed by you. That's why when you touch them, they don't want to be touched and they like just scream and run away because that's escaping. Okay. So how do you deal with that? And a lot of like moms have been telling me that whenever they try to teach their child and play together, the child runs away. And that's because, number one, you're disturbing them. Okay. Number two is that you might have become a negative stimulus already, which I have been there as well. I remember one time a child who was on the spectrum, he came over, he came into the clinic room, and then the first thing he said was bye-bye, 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 as in like getting rid of me, right? He's saying bye to get rid of me. And he says bye to all the things he doesn't want, okay? So I'm sure a lot of parents can relate here. A lot of kids actually say bye-bye as a way to reject. So after the bye-bye, if you don't get rid of yourself or the thing that is causing the disturbance or annoyance, he's going to start screaming. Right? He's going to start crying until you remove it. Okay. So this is when it's about escaping or rejecting something, you have to, how to say this nicely? You have to get the timing correct. Okay. You need to know when he doesn't want it. Okay. The moment that he doesn't want it, you have to teach him or her a better way to tell. Okay. So it's okay to remove yourself. It's okay to remove something as long as they talk or as long as they do a gesture or as long as they, stay calm. Right. So if that's the case, then you can teach a no or like leave or like bye-bye is not really that great. Or you can teach him I don't want. Or teach him like a cross like that. I've got a nonverbal kid who does this a lot. Like to cross you away. And so you can do that. But then the problem is that what if they always say bye-bye? What if they always cross you and stuff? So this is when you need to do a lot of work behind, okay? You need to improve your relationship with your kid, which we do talk a lot in the micro course and also the full course, okay? So for you guys who don't know yet, there's a micro course, which is like 8 videos, is short and snappy. very to the point. And then at the back of it, there's a full course that you can upgrade later, and it talks more about managing behavior. Okay, and then also teaching how to a lot more lessons about teaching language. Okay, we don't talk about speech, unfortunately. I think at this moment in time, I myself personally have no plans to touch upon speech. Okay, you can actually. You can ask me about speech, obviously, in the Facebook group, because it's highly individualized, it's highly personalized, and sometimes I just don't know how to tell a parent what to do without knowing more, right? So right now there's 2 courses, the micro course and the full course. If you're in it, great. Say hi in the group, in the Agents of Speech group, and tell me more about what's going on at home, okay? And then so I was talking about improving your relationship with the kid. So what does that mean? What it means is all the kids who listen to me do so because we have a good working relationship together, all right? And the reason why your child doesn't listen to you is because they're not used to it, and they think that they can run away, they can scream and shout, they can get their way. Okay, with me, there's no particular, there's not much bargaining, right? They know they can't control me. And they know even if they say bye-bye, nothing's going to happen. But the key component is that I never push them, force them, or, make them to talk. I never do that. What I do, though, and this is where you need to change a little bit, is to be generous. Okay, we always talk about being generous. What does that mean? What does it mean with like crying and whatever? You have to remember, crying, tantrums are all forms of protesting, right? And obviously they have different functions, and we talked about this in a different video, right? And I'm sure that if your child is going to an ABA, applied behavioral analytics therapy, the therapist will talk a lot about the function of the behavior, whatever. But remember, whenever they're doing that, it means they're in discomfort, right? It means they want something or they don't want something. There is a reason behind it, and the reason mostly why they're protesting is that they don't like the way you're talking to them, right? Or they don't like the way you're presenting something to them. Yeah. So if you think about it in that way, we're the people to change, because most of the time, if they can change, they would have changed already, right? If your child can change, they would be talking already, because talking is way easier than throwing a tantrum. Like, call me crazy, but to me, throwing a tantrum, like for myself as a grown man, is pretty hard. I mean, I have to get into the mood. I need to be so triggered that I explode, and I don't care about what others think, and it's bad on the voice, like my vocal cords. It's not very pretty, it's tiring. So why does your child do that? Like, if you think about it, they're going all out. They're going out of the way to do it, right? And they can't. That's the best way that they know. Okay. And one of my students, who there are 2 students I want to talk about. One is on the spectrum, right? And she told me that she can speak now, okay? She only got angry when she was young during therapy was because she wanted for the things to go her way, okay? And that was the easiest way she knew anyways, because talking was hard, okay? That I can totally understand, okay? The other one is that he doesn't really have much of a problem with language and behavior. It's more like his speech was like, he had a speech disorder, apraxia. So he would get into the tantrum when things got really hard for him, okay? And that people weren't understanding what he meant. Both situations are that the child is in distress and isn't really liking how we are like communicating, okay? Maybe we're not understanding, we're not communicating nicely, we're not making the rules that make everyone happy. So that's why they get angry. And the same as like adults, right? There's only a quarrel between you and your husband and with your wife because someone feels like they're wronged, right? So your child is always feel like, oh, you're doing a bad thing to me, okay? I feel like I should throw a tantrum at you to get what I want, okay? And that's what we call protesting on a national level as well, right now. So if you think of that, it's just common sense. Therefore, if you keep on doing the same thing over and over, it's gonna either stay the same or get worse. Okay. So the parent showed me this. I can't show you the video, obviously, it's to my discretion. But what happened was that the parent kept on pestering the child to say the word. But obviously, the child wasn't ready yet. Okay, he wasn't ready yet, and if you're pushing your kid to say something because you heard him say it once, ain't gonna happen. Okay, imagine you doing it. We were talking about this last week, right? So imagine that you were learning something. Okay, for me back in the day, for this example, I want to talk about when I was in high school. I went to Thailand. It was about like swimming in a river. One time I was able to do a flip. Okay, into the river, just one time. Okay, I would call that a fluke. I think I'm getting it, but I'm not mastered. I haven't mastered it. But then everyone around me thought that I could do it forever, right? Every time. Okay, but that doesn't work that way. So I got pissed off. If they keep on like pushing me because I don't know how to do it. Like it was just like by chance, right? And I told the teacher, hey man, I'm not ready yet. And then he's like, hey, you got it, go do it. And I'm like, hey, this is new river. It's very dangerous for me, so I'm not gonna do it. But that's how your child feels. Like he might have done or said some words before, which may or may not be like very accurate or not accurate at all. But remember, it doesn't mean that they can do it consistently. Okay, same with all skills, especially for kids, because they haven't really gotten the required skills and the required, the motor planning or motor strength, whatever you call it. So all those things that children need in order to start talking like us, right? So if you think about that, then don't push him. Okay, when you see a tantrum, first of all, of course, don't give in. Obviously, let them what they have. Well, let them have what they want. Show them a good way and stuff, and then and then give it to them ASAP. All right, don't try them. Don't force. All right. So Tian, I hope it's Tian, says, good morning. I do that with Zoe. Keep forcing her to say something, but must admit patience is not my strongest trait. Yeah, Tian, you have to remember, Zoe never asked you to be like speech delayed, man. I mean, she never said, Mom, it's not her fault, basically. And it's not your fault either, right? She never asked for it. You never asked for it. So when she doesn't do it, it's not like she's trying to be a bad person or a bad kid to you, right? All she's trying to do is that when you force her, she gets pissed off, and it's a bad relationship between you two already. Okay, so it's not really about patience either, because what you're doing now, Tian, is that you're forcing what you want on her by forcing her to talk, because she probably doesn't want to talk. She's pretty okay with not talking. That's why she's not talking, right? And by us putting our standards on the children, it's very easy for them to feel that they're wronged, and that's why they throw a tantrum, because we keep on pushing. Okay. Sometimes we use like a ruler for normal kids on special needs or speech delayed children or language delay or ASD children. Doesn't matter, but it's not the best thing to do. Yeah, children will they develop in their own way, right? So don't think it's not your fault that you're not patient. It's just that the society has. I'm not blaming the society either. Okay, what I mean is that we use people's like ruler to put on our kids, and that's exactly what a standardized test is. All right, that's exactly what it is. We get like a bunch of typically developing children, make a test out of it, test them to see like the results that they have, and then make a norm out of it. Okay, and obviously there are people who are better, who are like weaker, whatever. But remember, okay, keep them. Don't force them. Okay, and don't give in. All right. And what if there's like a sensory breakdown that creates a tantrum, like makes them scream and shout, and you can't hold them? Okay, this happens a lot with children on the spectrum, but it also happens a lot with sensitive children. Okay, so let's talk about that. In order to deal with it, you have to do a lot of like leg work. And what I mean by leg work is before you get there, you have to get them ready. Okay, because I also have a lot of sensory issues now that I've grown up, and now I know why I always feel tired when I was a kid. And for me, I'm very sensitive to sound. So if things are too loud, basically what happens is like my brain feels like it's about to explode. Okay, which none of my friends feel like it. And now I know it's because I'm sensitive to sound. And your child might be sensitive to a lot of things, so you have to do a lot of desensitization, or at least help them to deal with it. So for me, sometimes I might need to use, I don't use it, but I put on like some earbuds to listen to music when it's too loud, or when there's, what's that called, when there's a church event, it gets too loud. I need to put silicone ear blocking buds. Like it's that bad for me sometimes. All right. So Rohini has a question. She says, I have a question related to my 6-year-old son. He has both receptive and expressive delay. He has been in therapy since 3, but he doesn't seem to remember the answer to how old he is. How can I help him to remember? Okay, so about that, that's what we call like a daily question answering thing, and it really depends on his memory, right? And if you're telling me that he can't remember how old he is, the only thing I can say is that you just need to keep on training him in order for him to remember. A lot of people think that it's important for children to know to answer how old are you, right? Just in case that like they have to, like, let's say that they lose, they're running around and they're lost inside a shopping mall or something, and someone asks, what's your name, who how old are you, where are you from, where's your mom, where do you live? Okay, these type of questions can be simply solved by adding a tag on the bag or on the belt, okay, and teaching your child to show it to strangers, right, with the name, telephone, like date of birth, address, right? So I always think, what's the most functional thing a child could do, right? And obviously, sometimes if your child is receptive and expressively delayed, teaching like how to answer their age might not be a very functional thing to do. And you might say, hey man, you might, like in Hong Kong, if you are like children have to interview for preschools, that's the number one question they would ask. What's your name? How old are you? Right? Isn't that functional? Well, I don't know, Rohini. Like, if your child cannot remember how old are you question, is that the number one thing that you are like most concerned about right now? Like that's my question. Okay. And I'm treating as if you're coming to me, paying me money. That's what I'm going to say, Rohini. I'm going to say, dude, maybe that's not the best thing to teach right now. Okay. If you have to teach, if you must make him remember, make sure you use all the things that you can do, right? Write down the question on a piece of paper, like, how old are you, right? And then change it into a 6 or something, all right? And then pair it with a reward so that's very strong, so he remembers it, okay? So remember, like, if you must teach, use a strong reward, use written cues, tell him the answer right away, do it like multiple times a day. I'm sure any kid will remember, okay? But what I'm telling you, Rohini, is you have to evaluate, is this the best use of your time with your child, okay? So Tian says, Zoe is 4 years old, not talking as average. Does that automatically mean I should test for autism? No, Tian, that is not automatically what it means, okay? And I don't understand, like, I remember, like, from last week you were on the live as well, Tian, but you can tell me more about, like, how your child is, right? And I can give you a better answer. But no, that doesn't automatically mean that you should test for autism. Doesn't mean if a kid isn't talking, it doesn't mean it's autistic, right? An autistic kid can talk a lot. Doesn't mean anything, okay? So you can tell me more about Zoe, all right? And I'm not sure if Tian, you're in the micro course yet. I don't think so, but you can tell me more about what's going on, all right? And you can put it in a group or whatever, or on the YouTube comments, and I'll try to get back to you. All right. So I was talking about sensory overload, right? So sensory overload obviously is not something that speech therapists like myself are particularly into or should be doing, but sometimes we really should do it. We should like think about, is this because of sensory overload? Okay, is there a particular sound, a particular thing you turn on, a particular, a way that you the smell or whatever that triggers some way of some sort of bad response, and hence to screaming and shouting. Okay. One particular thing I want to highlight to parents is physical touch can be something that triggers screaming and shouting. Okay. I've seen a kid in my first job as a therapist. I was very young, and I was like really scared as well, not to hurt kids, but at the same time he was gonna running at me, and he was gonna bang me with his head. So I just had to stop him, right? So I held him down, and he started like I was really, really scared. Okay, but why he did that, and we were analyzing, was that I used a little too much force, just holding on to him. And within like a typical sensory, like normal sensory level child, if I did that to him, it's okay, right? If it was a child who wants sensory, like physical needs, like physical sensory needs, right? If I hold him like that, he'd be happy as well. He'd be even happy. But this one was hypersensitive with like touch. So what I see a lot with parents, especially moms, is that when they hold on to the child's hand, they grab them, right? They grab them, or you might do it, I don't know, or you might know someone who does it. He holds the hand here and holds the child like that, and then they tell me, hey man, my child doesn't follow me, or like he doesn't like to hold my hand, doesn't like to be a normal kid and just walk with me. And then when I hold him, he just kind of like flips off my hand and runs away, right? If you are having this problem and you're holding to your child on the wrist, then you're doing it wrong. Okay, how you should do it is to like make sure that he's comfortable. If you do that, if he's hypersensitive, that's gonna make him scream. Okay, and so what you should do is to hold up your hand like that, and then take his hand and teach him to hold your hand like that, and then walk. Whenever he lets go, you stop him, and you just like totally just like you stop and you stop him, like putting your hand on his chest, not let him go. Okay, the only way he starts walking again in a mall, now not going to do a lot of that right now, but like if he wants to walk, he wants to go forward, he wants to see something, you will take his hand and slowly put it onto your hand. I don't know how you do it like this, I don't know, but if you do that, I guarantee, nearly guarantee, 98%, that is going to be a lot better, because I've done it a lot of times. I've taught multiple moms do it, like getting rid of like running away without hand holding and stuff. So try it, okay? Don't let them go if they let go of your hand. Just push them on the chest, right? And then teach them to slowly put it on your hand and like that. So we eliminate any sensory problems and let them know that they are and don't like try to like pull them ahead with the hand like that, because it's not comfortable. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna answer a few more questions, and that's it for today, because it's already 30 minutes. My God. Okay, so Danya says, my son is 3 and he likes to play with our ears like a comforting thing. He's gotten better, but still he does it anyway to help him stop. I try pen sensory toys, but doesn't like them. Okay, so I don't know what you mean by play with your ears. Like he plays with your ear, right? Like you and your husband. Am I correct? So I'm gonna keep on going, because I know that there's a time lag in the lives. So you have to stop him before he does it. I'm guessing he only can play with your ear when he's near your ear, right? He can't possibly jump up and flick. Okay, so Danya says flicking them. Okay, cool. I mean, not cool for you, but so that I understand. Okay, so I'm guessing that he can only flick your ear when he's near your ears. So how you prevent that is to always like pushing his hands away and preventing it, actively prevent it before he even flicks it. So you will know whenever he wants to flick your ear, right? Because he's close to you. So I have a kid back then in my first job. Again, he would like to take my glasses off and bite it for no reason. I don't know why. It's not a sensory thing. I don't know what it is. Okay, I don't know what your child is about. Either, Danya. I think it might be your response as well. So let me talk more about this example. So the only way that he gets to my glasses, as per ear, because it's on the same level, is that he's sitting next to me, or like I'm hugging him, or I'm like carrying him, or I'm on the chair and he's like basically climbing on me. So number one, don't let him climb you, right? Never let him climb you. And when you're holding him up, don't let him like put his hands down and squish him. Okay, squish him a little bit. All right, actively preventing it. Think about how to prevent him from even touching anything. All right, and number three is don't give a response when he does it. Just don't go no, like don't do that, because if you do that, you never know if your child likes it or not. A very, very good hint is that he's like smiling, he's giggling, he's like he wants to do it again when he hears you, right? Some kids are just silent, like they're just silently having fun with you. They just like flick it, and then inside they're having fun. All right. So you can see it in their eyes if they like your response. So the best way to like just eliminate your response. Don't even give them the gratitude, like not gratitude. Don't even give them like the pleasure of hearing your voice, right? If he flicks you, just shut up. Don't say anything. Put his hand down, and that's it. All right. And another thing you can do is to pair it with rewards. Okay. And what I mean by that is like you set up a situation where he has access to flick your ear. It's tempting, but you stop him before he does it and you give him a reward. Okay. What do I mean by that? So for instance, how I got rid of the kid like taking my glasses is that I played with my glasses. I tempted him a little bit. Right. I'll talk about that later. You tempt him a little bit before he touches it. You stop him and you say, "Good boy, you didn't touch it." And then you give him like a snack. That's very robotic. That's like teaching an animal per se, right? Or you can give him like some iPad time and you say, "Good boy, here we go. Go watch it. Go eat it." I don't know, because you didn't touch my ears, right? So Danya says he's really touchy-feely. We sit and watch a show, cuddle in bed. He does it. Yeah. So therefore, during a show, you need something to hold him down, right? It might be your hands. Okay. And if he does it, you should stop everything. Like you need to like switch off the TV and just whatever. If he touches your ear, you should like just walk out without giving any like sort of response. Just like whatever, and just leave. Okay. See if that works. You see, I'm throwing a lot of solutions at you because I want you to try them. Okay, not one solution will help. You need and a lot of parents always say, "Will your methods help me?" Or like, or my child is 4, is not talking. Will your methods help? I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest. If you're watching this and you're thinking about whether to join our, our micro course or whatever, or like just listen to me, or the answer is I don't know. So Danya, you have to try all of these, all this stuff that I've said just now. All right, the last one for you right now is that during a show or on the sofa, on the bed, you can buy a weighted blanket. And a weighted blanket is just a blanket that has more weight in it. You can just buy on Amazon if you're in the USA, or any type of blanket that is a little more heavy. Okay, that can calm your kid down when he's on a surface like a soft surface like a sofa. All right, see if that helps. All right. So that's it. I'm not going to answer any questions for now, but I'm going to tell a little more housekeeping. So for the upcoming live, it's going to still be on schedule. And at any time, you guys can always just comment and ask me. Okay. And I see one more question from Rohini. I'm just going to answer it anyways. Okay. So Rohini says, what are the chances of a second child having a delay if the first one has one? I don't know the chances. There are no study about this. As far as I know, there is a genetic thing, like an inherent thing with like speech delay, language delay, autism as well. But I don't know what the chances are, to be honest. It really depends. No one knows why there is a delay in children, all right, especially for language. And we certainly don't know the reasons behind the causation of like autism, all right? So literally nobody knows. Nobody knows how to answer a question, as far as I know. And if anyone tells you that they know, then I would think that, tell them to show you something. show you a piece of paper with a study. And one study doesn't cut it. It needs to be like 10, And what are the chances? I don't know. There is a chance for everything, right? So a lot of oopsies. So a lot of parents have been saying, what am I supposed to do? Is this going to help? And especially because the micro course itself, it's like a $10 thing. Is like, for me, it's cheap, right? Because it also saves my time, so I don't need to repeat myself over and over again. And so parents always, like, especially mothers and also fathers, they ask me, hey, man, is this going to work? I'm putting my hard-earned cash onto this whole thing, right? So the door just opened by itself. That's crazy. My advice for you is that, hey, try it out. You got to try. I don't know if my methods will work. Okay. I don't know. And the thing is, if I tell you about a method, it's like just now that parent, one person says it doesn't work, the other says it does. Okay. And it's because how you do it, and how you get good at something is that you try it, you ask for feedback, and then you do it over and over again until you understand how to do it and do it better. Right. So try those methods out, ask in a group, right? If you join the course, and obviously, there's no one cookie cutter method for anyone. Okay, the stuff that I talk here and in the paid courses are like it's the stuff that's been working for parents. All right, I've been teaching parents over the internet, and I know that without like my own intervention, it's going to be a lot harder. I get it, but at the same time, you have to try it. Okay, there's no other way that I know as of right now. Okay, but I'm trying my best to like teach the things that has been working. All right, and this course isn't the first course that I've done. Right, these courses are from like me teaching parents one-on-one, like in real life and on Zoom afterwards, and then after that it was like a group inside a group, and now it's become like video lessons. Okay, so that's it for tonight, guys. Happy and Merry Christmas. And I'll see you in let me see. I think I'll see you guys in 2021 then. 2021. Have a great New Year's. Hope that 2021 will be a much happier, much happier year per se. A much easygoing year, especially for the moms and the work at home dads, who are suffering right now without a better word, right? So thank you. Thanks everyone. And I'll see you guys soon in the next year. Bye.